As you can see by the sun behind me, it is a little afternoon, and it is hotter than hell. It's only gonna get hotter. I'm already sweating sitting here. Had to move some stuff in and out of the garage. Now it worked up a healthy sheen and glow. Look at the sheen. Today I am still waiting for the epoxy to dry on the super secret blue tube project. Can't work on it because it's still tacky, which is bizarre. I guess last night had enough moisture in the air to keep it from fully curing. So I've set it out in the sun, and by 5 o'clock my time, it should definitely be cured and stop being tacky. And I can check the sizes on that. In the meantime, I did receive my second package from Out of Darts. That contains some screws that I'll be able to use on my blasters. I'll be able to take them apart. The ones that I've modded, the Fortnite Sniper and the Zombie Strike nail biter. I'll be able to take them apart, put them back together with good, healthy screws this time instead of the garbage ones. And I will actually be able to even finish the mod on the Fortnite Sniper because it's sticky and I need to fix that. So today we'll be using a Dremel, screwdrivers. I'll be going over the parts that I use again in detail. This specifically is what I'm currently using. This is not what I suggest for custom jobs at home. So get that into focus a bit better. Apparently I can't. AED. So I'll go over why I chose that to begin with, and then my personal flub, not realizing that that's not the proper size and other things. But I will go over that as time goes on. Okay, I guess let's get started. Okay, first problem you're going to see with the blasters. I've already opened it repeatedly. I've stripped the heads off of a bunch right there of screws. That one's starting to go up top. There he is. And then on down the barrel, I can't check right now. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be attempting to get these screws back out of here using a, where the hell it is, I haven't taken it out of the toolbox yet, but using a specially designed bit that's meant to bite into deteriorated screws and pull them back out. Hopefully that will be a thing. All right, welcome back. I've gotten all the screws out, including the stripped ones, including the worst of the stripped. And I just wanted to show how I did that. I'm using this to actually hold on to the phone. In fact, I'll show you. Hang on a second. Watch your seasickness. You can see where I made a diaper for the phone here. Just doubling up on the tape. There we go. Safe to look again. I then attempted to use what's called Speed Out. It's an excellent product. Unfortunately, it's not designed for working with tiny screws and tiny holes. It's designed for working with big, large, beefy things. I've used it before. It's an excellent product. So what I ended up doing was I took off, where are we? There we go. I took off some of the duct tape, and then I took my screwdriver jammed it down in there. Let's see. There we go. And as you can see, I was able to, with enough massive pressure shoving down, the duct tape filled what was left of the Phillips heads. By the way, this is why Phillips suck. I don't care what people tell me that Phillips are the best screw. They are garbage. I don't have flatheads ever strip like this. So with that done, I'm going to go ahead and take the shell off, and we'll get you guys officially on your way. Okay, after a lot of swear words and some other things, we've gotten it apart. The rear loves to catch, so the blaster kind of semi-self-seals. Also, you cannot separate the blaster while the dart flap is down. Show you guys that trick in a second. Okay. Man, it's been a minute since I've been in here. All right, so let's take a brief tour. Hang on, I'll slide this out. And come back. You don't have to remove any screws in the barrel. I forgot about that. The barrel's actually its own piece. So you don't need to remove any of that. It's highly suggested that you don't touch the barrel. There's just no point. Okay. So, first I want to clear off my extra little table room. Now that I'm thinking about it, then I'll have more room to talk just about the blaster itself. So, push this to the side. Other trick right here. These are the shit screws that will never go back in that blaster. It's an easy way to keep track of your screws if you don't have a good cup, and if they're teeny tiny and they're hard to pick up off a table and you don't want them sitting inside that, you can just do this. You can put it on the side of your table, you can put it up your nose, wherever you want to stick this. They'll stick and they'll sit. So that's out of the way. I already showed you the trick to remove the screws, so that is out of the way. Okay. Speed out's no longer useful to me, so that can move. Extra drill bits, we may need those in a minute. Offhand, I do not remember where my silicone gel is. I would love to know where that is, because I need to actually re-grease. As you can see, this is completely dry. Okay, well, let's go over some of the basics of the blaster. Get garbage out of there. Okay, so your trigger system here, there is no safety on this trigger, so it will always fire. Again, this guy just sits here. You'll get plenty used to dealing with his garbage. This whole system here is really complainy, bitchy, hyper bitchy. This spring does not actually sit out there. It sits here and is under a constant pressure. There's your mag release. Oh, sorry, I'm using my eyes. So this spring here does not overshoot that yellow wall. It's under constant pressure. There's no actual thing holding your main spring. It just sits right here inside this little opening. Okay, let me get some of the extra pieces. Okay, so these are the extra pieces. This is part of the air restrictor. It's no longer a thing. This is your little clacky doodad. He normally sits like that. When you're sliding your bolt back, it makes that clack noise. He bites onto both sides of that post, which is what allows him to clack both directions. Personally, again, I obviously removed it because I didn't need that extra noise. That's how you remove it. You just pick it up, pull it out. It's just right there. It's just a single piece. Okay, hidden under here is another spring. And finally, again, the bolt. Sorry, I'm looking again with not using my eyes. Or excuse me, using my eyes. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about what this is, why it is, and so forth and so on. There we go. Okay, so my phone crapped out on me halfway through. I managed to get some work done. Apologies for not being able to show you guys everything. Okay, so I'm not technically finished with everything. I don't know how much battery time, excuse me, not battery, but storage space I still have on the phone, but we're going to go over everything as we can. Hopefully I can see what I'm doing here. Move the phone a minute. Okay, let's pull that out. Okay, so what's been causing my blaster to get really clicky and jam at the front where I have to whack it super hard to knock it back into position is, also pay close in mind to this setup here, you've got a flap that is down, not up. But is this obnoxious little piece right where, there we are, this thing right here. It's catching on the bottom of the slide back here, and somehow it is just like clawing in with just no remorse. So I've gone ahead and sanded down a little bit. And I spent about 45 minutes trying to figure out why the blaster no longer cocked properly. It would simply come back and then spring forward again. And that is because the plunger tube wasn't properly sitting in there. So, okay, let's talk about the actual mod itself. I know Xavier is going to be doing a mod of a K26 video here. I am going to go out on a limb, pull my K26 real quick, and I'll answer the question for you. Can it take a K26? Yes. Yes. K14. No. So it can take a K26. Am I going to put a K26 in here? No, because I was intending on using this as part of my... need to move up. I can't. I can't see the camera, so I can't see what you're saying. Because I wanted to use it for a Nerf war and use it with the nephews, which means I can't shoot them hard. Little crybabies. Okay, when you put the slide back in, this is a real pain in the ass. Number one, this side is facing you and it's down. And you're going to have to get a screwdriver because you're going to have to push down on this. You need to make sure that your point here is going into the barrel, not above it. Oh, nice. It's actually starting to act like a proper blaster. Expand that back out. Now, there are these catches up here. Don't know how well you can see that because I'm looking at a really crap angle with the camera. This is where you're going to be sitting this part, targeting that. Target on in. Okay. Set your springs. All right. Now, again, as mentioned at the preceding video, this is all that's actually holding the spring in place, which is a little bizarre if you ask me, but this fits right here. There's a specifically cut channel that'll fit it's the only spot it'll fit, which makes it easy. Oh, I've got that turned around. This is your trigger interaction point. Where the hell are we? There we go. Trigger interaction point. That's going to sit here. And what happens specifically is this is your middleman in your trigger scenario. The trigger slides back, pressing that up, which interacts with this, pressing that up, which releases your spring. Make sure you're sitting nice and down. This comes in. Again, the spring does not mount ahead. All the springs are under tension in this blaster. Just slide her on in there, lift. And now technically, this blaster fires. Or should be firing. Let's see here. Okay, nothing to do but test it. Okay, so while we're doing that, I'm putting it back together. Let me talk to you about the parts. That's what it looks like on the bottom side before I've chopped it to pieces. In here, oh, too far down for you, I'm sorry, right there. Before it's been chopped to pieces. What happened is I had to cut, and no, I'm sorry, I left the front piece. I had to cut 3 out of the 4 sides. Then epoxied it into place, and then I had to cut, sand down the epoxy so that it would fit inside the sliding door window. This is been dremeled out, giving extra room, but I did not want to interfere with the pre-existing. My apologies, we got to go back to shaky cam. The diaper's keeping too much heat on the camera for it to sustain record. All right, let's continue. The part was simply epoxied into place, and then the bolt, standard bolt, wrapped with red electrical tape to prevent cutting yourself on the bolt ridges there. We'll just use that term for now. Okay, so why did I do this? Well, anybody who has this blaster knows that you've got these little plastic wingdings that are supposed to serve as your bolt action. However, those little plastic wingdings, one, stick out permanently, cannot be removed, and to make matters even worse, they're not exactly very strong. They're actually pretty crap, in my opinion. So I resolved to remove them, to not use them on mine. And I created the bolt concept because it's an actual bolt, number one. Number two, the original concept was, once again, if you watch the other videos, you already know, was that this would become interchangeable. I'd be able to get doorknobs off of dresser drawers, stuff like that. So you could have a designer doorknob. I was going to do an all-white paint job and throw in some extra pastel sparkles, stuff like that, and use a glass, not a glass, but a disco ball looking slide, and then have a picture of Disco Stu or Disco Steve from Simpsons on the stock. So it's going to be the disco blaster, but I wasn't able to do that because this is too large of a bolt. It's actually one size down, I believe. I think it's an 1/8 of an inch instead of a 1/4 of an inch. I don't know that you would want an 1/8 of an inch as your stress point, but that's up to you. I mean, if you end up breaking the bolt, as long as this remains undamaged, you can just slap on a new bolt and who cares. But if you're going to do your mod, now you know. Now you know why I did it and how to do it. These parts were available at my local Home Depot. It's not the greatest store on earth, unfortunately, but it does do a pretty ample job most of the time for what I need. I'm going to go ahead and throw some whatever that stuff is, silicone gel on my tube so that it'll slide easier on the moving parts, take care of them. And I will close now for this video. You don't need to see me adding grease and putting screws back in. If the phone decides to play nice, I will record the video of me taking apart the nail biters, and then you guys will be able to check out how the nail biters function. Just shoot down here. Some unnecessary mods. Oh, the air restrictor. I forgot to mention that. The way I dealt with the air restrictor, I gotta take this apart. Darn it. Okay, so the way I dealt with the air restrictor, let's do that there, is I drilled out from this side. That way I would be guaranteed to hit the right spot. You could try to go for it from the other side without taking things apart and trying to use a big long bit, but that is just begging for trouble. I just went right through there, popped it, didn't even bother to clean it up, didn't need to. The report is a much louder bang from the gun. It gives a much better bang, but at the same time, while I do get somewhere between generally 0 to 10 extra feet when firing it, it's not a it's not a dominant, you know. I wouldn't consider this an excessively modified blaster. If I took this to somewhere where they said stock only, I'd say, hey, look, I took the air restrictor out because it was in the way. And if they said no, well, then they say no. But to be really honest with you, it doesn't hit very hard. It doesn't add a whole bunch of distance. But the gun sounds, the blaster sounds more oomphy. It has more power behind it. Sounding anyway. Okay, I'm going to put this together and I will hopefully see you in the next video. Quick update. Whatever I have done, or perhaps it's not me, as Nerf seems to recognize that there's a problem, it looks like, it looks like this is what's causing the jam. If you somehow get ahead of this point, the blaster likes to jam up and not draw, which is strange. I wish I could demonstrate it, but I can't right now. Just be advised, if that's a problem, you may just want to take that and possibly either just add like a block of epoxy in there so that it can't ever truly overdraw. So, okay, I'm going to put this back together with the darts with the screws that Out of Darts sent me. Nerf Mod Shop. Thanks for supporting my shop. Visit our main website for more products at the best prices. Feedback, questions, or new product requests, email me directly. If you're happy with your purchases, consider leaving us a review. I give you a review. He's a businessman. He does his job, and he does it well, which is selling of things. He's not there to help you with your builds. So, if you're looking to him for build help, don't bother. They don't really have time to answer a lot of emails. He's trying to get stuff shipped out and shipped in as much as possible. And I can respect the man for that. Let him handle his business. If you want help with mods, go to the forums, go to other places. He's probably on those forums because, of course, he has to know what people want, what people don't want. So, all right, let me get this thing back together with my brand new, hopefully good screws compared to the crap we had before. One last brief word on putting your blaster back together. This thing is ridiculously finicky. I've put it back together 6,000 times over the course of owning it, which I've only taken it apart twice and then just now for 3 times. Make sure all of your springs, all of them, including the one up here in the front, are down. And if you notice, that's popped up. You've got to reach in there with that screwdriver. You gotta, it's not that part, it's this part. It's the wingy ding. Always make sure you're sitting flush. Even when it doesn't look like you're sitting flush. This thing needs to be up. With this mod, because I didn't Dremel out perfectly, because I didn't want to take out the extra plastic that was strengthening the blaster, you have to come in from the top, favoring this portion. There's also a metal rod right here that you have to favor. And yep, spring popped out on the trigger. Yep, got to take it apart again. Just one spring popping out will be the cause of no end of headache. That's why taking this blaster apart, not just the fact that the screws go bad. I'll bet that thing popped out again. Why it's such a pain in the butt. Double checking. Starts the plastic. Okay. All right, there you go. It's back together again. I'm gonna go ahead and just do a test fire one last time, officially for the road. If you are gonna mod in this manner and you don't want to risk breaking the blaster, I can't condemn it because I don't know for the fact that it happened before my mod, because I never fired the thing really before my mod. But see there, I'm stuck ahead, I'll bet. I am stuck ahead. So don't want to lose the Coca-Cola. Go to whack. I'm now behind. Butter smooth. Catches the spring. Come forward. Solid. Don't ram too far forward unless you're going to put in a epoxy stop that'll prevent you from slamming in. And ladies and gentlemen, I will catch you next time. For sure this time.